Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video we are going to discuss about how we can connect ASP.NET Core based application with Azure SQL database from Visual Studio using Azure Key Vault. So let's begin. So this is the simple ASP.NET based core application where I have both front end and back end. So on back end part I am using Azure SQL Server. So let me show you. I'm not going to explain this complete code. I'm just going to explain how we can connect application from Visual Studio to Azure SQL Server and use with using Azure Key Vault. So if I'll go to my startup.cs file, so if you can see the two things we have to do. First we have to add the NuGet package in our source code. So I have added two packages. One is Azure Identity and another one is Azure Security.keyvault.secret. So these two NuGet packages you have to install on your source code. Next, this is the configuration which I am using to connect to the key vault to retrieve the connection string which we have to use to connect to the SQL database server, Azure SQL database server. So if you can see here, so first thing what I am doing, create a secret client using the manage identity for authentication. So I'm using basically a manage identity for authentication. So these are the basically key vault URL or secret client. This is a local variable. So if you have to verify, just click on key vault URL. So you can see this is a local variable, and this is the way how we define the variable. So space key vault URL, and this is the method which we are using, and this is the key vault URL from which we want to connect this particular applications. So here basically we are just hard coding the key vault URL and nothing else. We can also parameterize these things if we are using CI/CD things, then we can do that also. In coming video I'll make a video of that as well. So again, similarly for client secrets, again I have defined a variable, and this is the secret client method which we are using. So if you click here secret client, just then go to GitHub and got documentation, you can see a lot of examples. So based on your requirement you can choose, and there are Microsoft document as well, like how we can use or reference Azure Key Vault with our source code. So you can also verify that. So now I'm just in this step basically I'm retrieving the secret, and this is the app setting. So this is the key vault certificate, or sorry, secret name which I have created, which I will create. Basically I have not created yet key vault, so I will create with this name. So whatever the name basically you will use in your secret, the same name you have to specify here. And now I am accessing the secret value basically, and this is the DB context I am using in our applications. So this is the configurations only I have added in my startup.cs file to connect to the Azure to retrieve the connection string from the key vault. Next thing, what in terms of code perspective, if I'll go to my application.json file, so you can see this app set, these two are the commented one. So this name basically, this is the secret name which you will create on the Azure Key Vault. So same name I have specified here as well, and this is the I have leave it as a blank because the entire connection string I will copy on the key vault. So we will keep it like a blank. So these two things basically I have to add in my source code. Three things. So these two NuGet packages, Azure Identity and Azure Security.keyvault.secrets, and this particular configuration I have added. And the third thing, the app settings.json file, I have keep it as a blank. Now let me run this application. Let's see if it's work or not. I have not created any key vault for this particular application as of now. So we will see the exceptions. Now you can see it fails to retrieve a secret by name. So Azure.request failed exception. So if you go here, you can see all the details why it failed, like has been soft deleted, like I have created this key vault earlier and I have deleted it, so I don't have any key vault with this name particular, so it's not able to connect because it doesn't exist. So now first thing what we do, let me close this. So I have created a GitHub document for this, so I'll just close the application and I'm going to follow this particular tutorial. So these are the steps basically which I am going to follow. So first what we have to do, first we have to do the app registration in Azure portal. So from there basically we will get client ID, tenant ID and secret ID, client secret, sorry. So these three things we will get when we create a app registration. So let's start first with the app registration. So I'll go to my Azure portal. Okay. So I'll go to app registration and here I will create a new registration. I'll keep it tag name is DB connection and I'll leave everything as default and I'll click on register. So now you can see app registration is created. Now I got a client ID, tenant ID. Now we need a client secret as well. So let me copy this client ID and tenant ID in my notepad file. So I'll just replace this one. This is my client ID. This is my tenant ID. Next we need to create a client secret. So we'll go to certificates and secrets and click a new client secret. So I will again name it DBC, DB connection, and the expiry I'll keep it 180, it is default. Now I'll click on add. So here I got the value of client secret. So just keep in mind you have to make a copy or you have to keep this value on a secret place because this is going to use. So this value basically we have to keep in a secret places or safely because this will be required for further and you cannot see it. So I have just copied it and let me paste it here, client secret. So if I'll go back again, client secret, okay, go to, now I can, okay, so if I'll go to client and certificates, okay, somehow still I can say, okay, let me refresh it, app registration, and I'll go to DB connection which we have created. Next we'll go to client and certificate. So now you can see we cannot see this value, so that's why we have to store somewhere securely this particular client secret. Okay, next what we need to do, so we have already completed the app registration part. The second step, we have to create a Azure key vault. So let's go to Azure portal again and I'll go to key vault, create new key vault. I'll choose my resource group and key vault name demo key, some random numbers. Region, I will choose my region as a Central India, and pricing tier I'll keep it as standard. Next I'll go to access configuration. There are two options which you can use, like during using the Azure key vault access policy or role based access control. So this is the recommended one, so we are going to use role based access control. Next And the public access for time being I'm keeping it for all the network. You can also use selected network, but for that you have to create a Azure virtual network and all, but I don't have any bnet in place, so I'm going for all access, public access for all the network. And let me review and create it. So it will take a minute to create this key vault, so let's wait for a minute. So this is completed. Now I'll go to resources. Now next thing what we will do, we will create a secret. Now you can see here you are not authorized to view this content. So what you have to do first, let me go to my GitHub. So if you see this particular error, then what we have to do, we have to create a IAM role and you have to assign the user from which you have logged in. So let me go to IAM role, click add role administrator, and here I will search key vault administrator. In the select member, I will select my account like Shivam Agrawal, and next. Okay, no member selected. Okay, so let me minimize this. Select. So I have selected my username from which I am logged in basically. You can have like this is the personal account I'm using, I don't have any AD and all. So if you want, you can create a separate user and you can assign permission whatever you want, and you can add that particular user account as well to access this particular key vault. So this is completed. Now let me go back again to secrets. Now you can see we are not getting that option which we are getting a you are not authorized to use. So now what we will do, we will create a secret here. So I'll create a name. Okay, let me keep the same name, otherwise I have to again modify my code. So you can keep any name, there is no issues. So I'm using app setting. And secret values. So this will be the connection string. So I have already created the database. So I'll go to my SQL server, SQL database, and this is the e-commerce which I have created. Now I'll go to connection string and I'll copy. There are two options. If you want to connect through AD authentication, you can use this one as well, and I'm using for SQL authentication. So let me copy this connection string. Now next thing what I need to do here, so actually I have already copied it. I have to put my password here, SQL server password, which will be used to authenticate. This is my password, like simple password @123. Okay, so I have copied it and I will paste here secret value. Now will it create. So we have app setting in place and we have secret in place. Now let's try to run the application. So I'll just change my key vault URL from this one, startup.cs file. So I'll just change this particular URL. Let me save the file. Now I will run the application locally. So now you can see we get exception again. So what it's telling, okay, so client secret credential authentication failed. So basically it's not able to authenticate. So what I have to do, if you see here, you so client secret credential authentication failed and was not found in the default directory. This can happen if application has not been installed by the administrator or tenant or something. So what is the issue? Basically, let me tell you. Let me stop the application first. So I'll go back to my Azure portal. So in Key Vault, we have to define the access policy. So I'll go back to my, like we have created the service account which we are going to use to connect to the Key Vault. So if you remember, we have created this client ID and client secret, these things. So this application doesn't have access on this Key Vault. So what we have to do, we have to go here and add role assignment. Now here we will search for Key Vault contributor role. Now I will add member. So we have created the app service registration with the name of DB connection. So we'll select that one. Okay, let me select it. So it's selected. Now I will go next and review and assign, because this particular applications which we are going to use, this is going to use this particular service principal to authenticate to client secret. So okay, role assignment is completed. Let me run it again. Okay, so again it failed. So we have provided the service principal which we have created with the help of app registration, that is on Azure's portal site. But in our local system, in from Visual Studio, how we will authenticate? So for that, what you have to do, let me stop the application. There are multiple ways to connect from from Visual Studio to Azure. So I'm going to use a concept called environment variable. So let me go to this PC properties, and I'll go to advanced system setting, and you can see Azure underscore client underscore ID, client secret, tenant ID. So those things I need to replace here because this is you still using the old one. So let me edit it. So first thing, I will change my client ID, which is this one. Next I will change my client secret. Next we will update tenant ID. Just keep in mind whenever you do copy, it will not take any spaces. Okay. Now let me okay and save it. Now you know that whenever we set any environment variable, we have to restart the command prompt, command line, or any tools, because it's an administrator thing, like as administrator privilege. We have to reboot the system sometime as well. So now what I will do, I will close my Visual Studio and I will reopen it. So it will fetch the credentials, sorry, environment variables which we have created. Okay, I'll choose my application. Okay, now let me run it again. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, again we got the exceptions. So let's see what it's telling now. Secret client get secret. Okay, so still it's not able to authenticate to the key vault secret. So it's telling assignment not found. Okay, so we are getting 403. It means there is some issue with RBAC which we have assigned. Okay, so let me stop the application. We will verify the RBAC role again. Okay, so I'll go to my key vault. Okay, let me see if, okay, this is the correct one. I'll go to IAM and role assignments. We will see what we have. So we have DB connection as a key vault contributor, and okay, so key vault administrator also, these two basically we have assigned. Let me go to my GitHub documentation if I missed something. So secrets we have created. Now at IAM role to select key vault contributor, select members of service principal which we have created. Okay, that's we have already done it. Okay, let me run it one more time. Okay, so just give me a moment, let me see what is the issue basically. So we'll check database sites. I think we have not added the service principal on database sites, because the connect key vault is will get retrieve the details from SQL server itself, so there is no connectivity, I think so. Let me verify. So this is a SQL server, and we'll go to access control, role assignments. So here we cannot see DB connection, which is this is the service principal which we have created. So let me add, that might be the issue. So I will search for we are not okay. Let me go to database.